Cool. So I can see two, three people have said you don't have experience in cloud. That is completely okay. So this course I'm planning for, no, like it doesn't have any prerequisite. It is not that you have to know something so and so. No, like you'll have to know this, you'll have to know that. Only then you'll be able to learn cloud. That is not the case with this particular course. So what I've decided is I've decided to give you a complete program on Azure Cloud Administration, and this is targeting the certification which is called as Azure 104. So that's our end agenda. Okay. So by end of the 40 hours, you should be in a position to attend this exam. Okay, that is the goal for this particular course. Okay, so let's quickly dive in about this cloud computing. So before we start into Azure, we'll have to understand what is a broader classification. Okay, so the broader classification is the cloud computing, and one of the cloud service provider is Azure. Okay, there are also market leaders who provide the similar service like how Azure provides. Okay, so these people are called as cloud service providers, and no, like the higher classification is cloud computing. So let me tell you what cloud computing is first at first place, and then we will touch base into Azure. Okay, so do you guys agree with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So if we say cloud computing, okay, if we say cloud computing, well, I want to make it very simple. Okay, I don't want to complicate things. No, like I see few people have already into cloud, and no, like there are few beginners, but I don't want to take your time. Okay, so let's quickly discuss about what is cloud computing. I'm going to show you a image which I've prepared, which is a single page image that explains about the cloud computing. When we consider cloud computing, there are two words in cloud computing. One is the actual cloud, and other one is the computing. So computing is nothing but no, like if you want to set up your business on cloud, so you will have to have servers or no, like storage. Not specifically cloud. When you are into IT, and if you want to start a business in IT, the primary prerequisite would be the software and the hardware. Okay, so this hardware part is what very important when we consider this cloud computing. Okay, so because this cloud computing concept is all about provisioning the hardware. Okay, so computers and operations, whatever we require, for example servers or storage devices or networking devices, all these components comes from cloud. Okay, so the second, the actual word what cloud does is, so what is cloud? Cloud is actually something which is not near us and no, like it is far away, correct? So there are three terms that I would like to explain you to say what cloud is. So anything which is remote, we call it as cloud. Anything which is accessible over internet, we call it as cloud. Anything we work with rental model is called as a cloud. So this rental model, you mark this is one of the very important features. Okay, because before cloud we were working with a model which is called as on premises, and no, like we'll have to purchase everything. Okay, so say for example if I want to host a business like Amazon or Flipkart, what I need is no, like I have to set up my infrastructure first. I have to get hundreds of servers, 1,000 or 2,000 GBs of storage devices and network devices, routers, switches, I need a place to host all of them. Okay, so the capital cost is very high, and no, like people cannot afford it. Okay, but when we consider cloud, it is a complete different story. So all I need is a bank account or a credit card or a debit card through which I can convince uh, AWS or Azure or GCP saying that no, like hey, here is my card and I can pay you online. Give me a cloud premises. So I'll get a portal access. I'll log into cloud, and no, like I'll do all the operations there, and no, like at the end of the month I'll pay the bill for them and come out of it. So this is how the model works. So rental model is very important. Okay, then what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is a practice of creating and using servers and any other computing resources through internet in rental model. That is the simplest definition we can give for cloud. Okay, so what is cloud? Anything which is accessible over internet and which is not with me, and it is kept in a remote place, and no, like if I'm going to take it in a rental model, that I call it as a cloud. Okay, so what cloud does? Cloud offers two models. Okay, one we call it as a deployment model, and other one we call it as a service model. Okay, so this deployment model is pretty straightforward and simple. Okay, so there are three deployment models that is around the market, which is called as private cloud and public cloud and hybrid cloud. So our cloud service providers like Amazon or GCP or Microsoft, okay, these people are called as cloud service provider, and there are also a number of cloud service providers out there in the market. So this cloud service provider, what they does is they give service to the end customer, and no, like they take money, they take collect the rent out of for the business that I mean for the service that they provide. Okay, so public cloud is these three people or any other company which is offering this solution called as like Amazon or Azure or GCP. They are called as public cloud. And what is private cloud? So say for example, I as an organization, I run an organization called as Madrasis Technologies, and if I buy some 50 servers and keep it in my premises, and like I give access to only 10 or 15 people within my scope, and that I term it as a private cloud. So if the servers and resources are accessible to the public people where they can pay rent and use the service, it is called as a public cloud. No, if I'm keeping the servers within myself and within my organization, I call it as private cloud. That is a high level difference. And there are a lot of use cases in the market, no, like where we use the combination of private and public cloud. Say for example, if I'm going for a banking domain, so people are aware about this security and threat, and they're afraid to get into public cloud. So what they do, they keep the data in the private cloud and uh, host the applications in the public cloud, because the public clouds are cheaper than the private cloud. Okay, so if you use a combination of both private and public cloud, we call the case as hybrid cloud. So this is about the deployment model. And what is the service model? Service model is again simple. So what I'm going to take from the cloud, so if I'm going to take all the computing infrastructure like storage or servers or networking devices, it is called as IaaS. If I'm going to get an deployment environment, like if I'm going to get a platform to deploy my application directly, so it is called as a PaaS, platform as a service. And the last thing is SaaS, which means that like we'll get the whole application, and like I don't have to do any installation or anything. So all I can do is like go get into the browser, paste the URL, get the application working, and like I can access. So this is software as service. So these are pretty simpler terms in the market now. So I don't want to spend a lot of time making you understand what is cloud computing. So I'll quickly repeat whatever I have told. So, cloud computing is a practice of using remote servers or any other computing resources through internet in the rental model is called as a cloud computing. So, two major factors that is offered by cloud is deployment models and service models. Deployment models, again, we have three deployment models. One is private cloud, public cloud, and like hybrid cloud. So, public cloud examples are Amazon or Azure or GCP, and private cloud is a data center which we were using 10 years back. And like hybrid is a combination of private and public cloud. So that's all of it. And service model, as I said, if you're going to get an infrastructure, we call it as IaaS. If you're going to get a deployment platform, we call it as PaaS. Or if you're going to get our solutions in our hand, we are going to call it as SaaS. Okay, so I might be a little fast now. I'll pace down, okay, going forward. So this is about the high level introduction about the cloud computing. Now comes the part with Azure. Okay, so what is Azure? Azure is a cloud computing cloud service provider. Okay, so what is Azure? Azure is a cloud service provider. Azure is not cloud. Azure is a cloud service provider who is offering us. Okay, just give me 1 second. So in the cloud computing, we have heard about few terms. Now we are going to understand about CSP. Okay, CSP means cloud service provider. So have you heard of this word called as ISPs, Internet Service Providers? Anybody know what is ISP, Internet Service Provider? So the every day we use like Airtel or no like Geo. Anybody who is providing internet to your home or office, we call it as correct. Our Wi-Fi.
BSNL.
That is right. So in the same way, the person who is offering, the company which is offering cloud as a service, we call it as cloud service provider. So there are 200 plus cloud service providers out there in the market. So out of them, we have choose to learn Azure. Okay, so the competitors are AWS and GCP. They are in the first and the third position. Azure is in middle. Okay. So why Azure is very important these days in the market? That is something we have to understand. So Azure has a highest level of market presence in the real world scenario. Okay, so nowadays, like people are familiar with Windows than Linux. How many of you agree with me? So people are friendly with Linux than Windows. How many of you agree with me? Yes, correct. Windows is easy. It has some graphical user interface and it is very easy to use. And that is the reason people are choosing Windows operating system. And whenever we choose Windows operating system, obviously the Windows operating system is handed over by Microsoft, and the same Azure product is handed over by Microsoft. So wherever we work with .NET applications, like Windows servers, we tend to prefer Azure. That is first point. Second point is Azure is becoming popular day by day. Okay, so AWS was started in the year of 2006, and Azure started 4 years later than AWS, and that's the lag. So this is Gartner's quadrant. I don't know how many of you are aware about it. So Gartner is a company. What they do is they do some research and understand the market presence of each and everyone, every cloud provider, and now like they categorize people into four quadrants. So leaders, challengers, niche players, and visionaries. Out of them, I said right, Azure is in between AWS and Google. So the next scope after Amazon is Azure. So every year Azure is going up and up, and soon or later, like Microsoft will be the product which will be the first leader, market leader, and post to that Amazon will be there. So that is the reason people are towards Azure, and like there are a lot of openings, and like job opportunities are revolving around Azure. Okay, so how we are going to practice Azure, or how we are going to learn Azure? This course, what I'm planning to take is going to be practical 100%. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in theory. We'll have a quick walkthrough of theory, and then we will jump into practicals where we will do some real-time task. All this 40 days we are going to operate in that fashion. Okay, so if I want to work with Azure, how I can get an access to Azure? So how can I set my lab to work with Azure is the second question. Okay, so to get access to Azure, just make note of this particular portal, which is called as portal.azure.com, where I'll be logging in with my credentials, but you guys have to. Okay, so it is already logged in. So what I'll do, I'll go incognito and show you how the login page is. Portal.azure.com. You see this? So this is how your login page would be. I would suggest you guys to create one Azure account so that you guys will have access to the portal. Once you're done with creating Azure account, you'll have to create a subscription to work with it. I'll show you what a subscription is. Okay. So once you have created your Azure account, you'll get access to the portal, and once you are into the portal, you will be able to navigate into multiple resources. Okay, here we are. So this is the Azure portal that I have access to. Okay, and you see this, there is a credit limit that is pending with me because I'm using a free trial account. So once you create your account, it is very simple. No, like go to portal.azure.com, click on create one, give your details, mobile number, and name, first name, last name, like how you sign up for Facebook. The same way you can sign up, and you can use this Azure portal. So once your account is created, you'll get into this landing page. So this is where we are going to work for the next 40 days. This is very important. Okay, there are three sections of it. One is the left section, and the other one is the middle section where I have this search bar, and the last section is where I'll have some setting options and all of the sort. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first thing, once you have created your account, you'll have to look for something called as subscriptions. And if you don't have access to subscription, that means that your account is not created. So if you have subscription something, if you see something as free trial or something else, then you have an active subscription. And what I'm going to do is like, click on add subscription. Okay, so for the people who don't see subscription here, you have to click on add subscription, and it will have some options for you like free trial, pay as you go, and Azure student. So I don't know if there are some students available. If there are any students, no, like they can provide their identity cards, and no, like they can get the Azure student access for 12 months. Okay, so this offer is only for the student. I've not used this option so far, but I always prefer you to go with the free trial, so which comes with 30 days free trial access. You will be given $200 as credit, and with the $200 credit you will be able to work with Azure. Okay, and once this 30 days 30 days goes away, and no, like you'll be pushed into this pay as you go model. Okay, so for the first 30 days you're going to work for free, and after that you're going to spend some money to learn. Okay, so what best we can do with this 30 days is we will try to understand how we can do cost optimization, how we can make sure that no, like I work for the rest of the days without paying money, or no, like paying less amount to practice. Okay, so make sure that you select this option called as free trial. Once you select this, you'll have to give your card details like debit card or credit card, whatever it is. They will be charging 2 rupees of money, and post to that you will have access to Azure. Okay, so this is one of the ways of accessing Azure portal. Okay, but there are a lot of other ways which you can access through. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what are the other ways or what we can do with Azure. Okay, so Azure is like any other cloud used to provision resources. The major advantages of working with Azure or any other cloud platform is there are 7 advantages that I would like to point out. So you see this, right? So the important 7 advantages are resource pooling. I'll be able to group the resources. I'll be able to create large networks. I'll have 100% availability. I'll have the security. Everything works in pay as you go model. So all these are theory which I'll be sharing with you over notes. Okay, but now our question is, okay, I've created an Azure account. Okay, I have created a subscription. I've got a free tier subscription. What I have to do next? So what I need to do? How to work with Azure? Okay, for that I'll tell you. Okay, so many of the courses, what they do is they manage to teach only the graphical user interface part. Okay, so which is through this portal. So there is a portal, and through the portal people can access Azure. That's the only way people teach, but it is not the case. Okay, there are many use cases where we need to automate stuffs for which the graphical user interface is not very good. Okay, so we will have to look for another option to automate. Okay, so for that there are 3 mechanisms that we can think of. Okay, so today we will speak about Azure subscription, what are the different ways of accessing, and like we will close the session, and tomorrow we will again dive into our first topic, how what is resource group, and like how to create resources. Okay, give me 1 second. I think I have it here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the basic architecture of Azure. Okay, so when you are into Azure, when you have created your account, so you will be the subscription owner. Okay, so every user will have the Active Directory tenant accounts. So you will be the subscription owner, and you can allow multiple people to access. Okay, so as a subscription owner, you will be able to log into this Azure cloud. You see this gray area, correct? So this is the Azure actual cloud where you'll be able to provision resources. So what are the different ways I can follow to log into Azure? So I can do try maximizing. Okay, is it any better than how it was? Okay, so what I'm going to do, so as a cloud engineer or subscription owner, what I want to do is I want to create resources, and this resources will be created on Azure cloud. And what are the different ways that I can use to create the resources? The very first way I would suggest you is through the Azure portal, which is pretty straightforward. I will log into Azure portal, look for the appropriate service. every component in Azure, every resource in Azure, or every resource in cloud computing is called as a service. Okay. So for example, if I want to create a virtual machine, I have to have a service which is called as VM, virtual machine. Okay. So only with the service I will be able to provision resources. Okay. So I can log into Azure portal, fill in the data which are required, like what is the resource name and how much GB of RAM is required, how much CPU is required, what is the operating system, give all the details and get your resource created. That is the first step. Second one, people who are familiar with PowerShell scripting, okay, most of the time I told, right, wherever PowerShell or Windows or any Microsoft product is used, so those are the legible customers for Microsoft, liable customers for Microsoft. Okay, so they prefer they prefer Microsoft Azure Cloud. So it is very easy to work to script the complete cloud infrastructure with PowerShell. Also, Azure is also providing a way. Azure is also providing a way to connect through command line interface. Okay, there are few SDKs that are available we can use, and the last option is if you are working with Java or Python or .NET. Every cloud. Every programming language has an inbuilt Azure, as Microsoft has released SDK for each and every programming language. So any people working with any programming language can work with Azure. So that is about it. And so what you will get, okay, I've told you what is Azure and like what are the components there. I'll give you those screenshots, documents and everything. So as for the next 40 days, what is the topics that we will be covering as part of this course? That is very important. So these are the topics that we will be covering during our next half of the course. So we will be looking into something called as virtual machines, data disk, storage, file shares. There is something called as a I mean, that is a programmatic component where I'll be able to copy the data, which is called as Azure copy. We'll be looking into active directories where we will be creating users and groups. We have a topic called as Azure resource manager. So that is a component which is used to automate. I don't know how many of you have heard about this a concept called as infrastructure as a code. So with Azure Resource Manager, we'll be able to create templates to provision resources. It is very important nowadays. We'll understand some basic commands of PowerShell. We will understand the command line interface options that are available. Yes, Sharat Kumar, like Terraform. Terraform is a third-party product which is offering IAC for all the cloud platforms, irrespective of Azure or GCP or no, like any other cloud platform. Terraform will be able to do IAC, but ARM templates are very specific to Azure. So it is a native product and it provision resource very quickly than Terraform. So since it is native, and the common networking terminologies like virtual networks, load balancers, application gateway, scale sets. So just go through all these topics and know like this will be the course of content for our rest of the course. So what is the end objective? As I said, we try to cover the concepts related to Azure 104. Okay, so 104 is administration certification that is very popular in the market. It has got a lot of value, and post to that you can always go to either Azure AZ 400, which is DevOps engineering, or solutions architect associate 305. Okay, that is the expert level certification that is in the market. Okay, this is all about the quick introduction of what is Azure and why we need to learn Azure. What are the services that we are going to look in? What is the certification path that we are focusing on? Like if not Azure, what are the other clouds that are very popular in the market? I did not touch the nooks and corners of Azure because from the day one, which is, I mean, tomorrow, day two, we are going to jump into each and every service, and like we are going to deep dive into each and every operations around the topic. Okay, so I want to have a quick class today, so I'm closing here. And for the day one and day two, I'll be sharing the recordings and course materials, and after day two we will not be getting any course materials. Okay, so For today's class, I'll share the recording. Tomorrow's class, I'll share the recording. Just go through. If you have any questions, you can ask me, or if you have any doubts or no, like if you want to talk with me now, I'm available for next 30 minutes. We can discuss. Anybody, any questions?
Hi.
Hi, Sarath.
So we'll be covering the course in the point of view of AZ104, right? We'll be
Correct.
preparing for the certification also, right?
Yeah, we will be preparing for the certification. Actually, it is I'm doing this with uh my name is Vignesh. Okay, I told you in the beginning. I
Yes.
don't know if you were there, no, like many people joined after that. So let me tell me about myself. Okay,
Sure.
so my name is Vignesh. I am a cloud DevOps engineer with experience of 10 plus years. I've worked with companies like Cognizant, Capgemini, IBM. Like I've worked with two other companies, MNCs. So I am working now with a Chennai-based startup called as Metrasis Technologies, and this company is offering this particular course, okay, for free of cost for everyone. So this is very specific to Azure 104, and we will be covering up to the max. So whatever is possible, we will cover for clearing this 104. And as I said, this course is free to attend. But if you are expecting the recordings, like so, these are some offerings that we will be providing. But there has to be some subscriptions that you'll have to do. Okay. So if you want to have the live trainings, recordings, training PPTs, Azure Exam 104 exam dump, Azure documents, sample resumes, interview questions, and there will be some quizzes around. So you'll have to pay the sum of rupees 1,299 to get all the materials every day post to the session. Okay. So again, I say it is not mandatory to purchase this. You can attend the session with free of cost every day, and you can practice by your own. But if someone feels that no, like if you want to have the recordings and like other training materials, you'll have to subscribe with the Metrasis Technologies for this. But it is bare minimum. It is very less cost if you go to any other training centers, because I am also working with multiple training centers in Chennai, and I know what is the cost that is they charge for the courses, but it is very bare minimum. 1,299 is a very minimal cost that Madrasis Technologies is offering. So if you are around Chennai, so this center is located at Porur, please feel free to visit and explore other courses as well. Uh, did that answer your question, Sarath?
Yes, Vignesh. Thanks.
Great. And Ashraf, which type of card are available? Okay, so you can use credit card and debit card, and both of these cards should be either Master or Visa. So if you're trying to provision or create Azure portal account subscription with Rupee cards, you'll not be able to do. So either you should have a Visa card or a Master card. And other question, I have seen cloud providers like AWS, Google, Cloud Platform, Concepts, Master, PayPal cards only. Okay. I don't know about this PayPal card. I don't know if PayPal is offering any card, but irrespective of AWS or Azure or GCP, they only agree Visa and Mastercards. And I hope if you have American Express card, they agree with that. How many how much is the fees, sir, for this course? If you want the recordings, this course is completely free. You don't have to pay any money. But if you want the recordings and like all the materials like exam dump and like Azure documents that we are discussing, and for that you'll have to pay 1,299. And does company mail gives any extra credit for us? uh Yes, you can check with your organization. So when I was working with one of the MNCs, when we log in with the company's email address, no, like they don't charge us. So if your company is partnered, you get some free limit. Do we have AZ900 series? Okay, so that is very interesting question. Okay, so our certification path is based out of three levels, correct? Fundamentals, associate, and expert. So the question comes, okay, we don't know fundamentals, how we will go to associate? Okay, so what I do is AZ 900 is pretty simple. Okay, you don't have to be, you don't have to have any experience to learn Azure. It is fundamental concepts. So what I do is whenever I touch base any of the topics, I touch the fundamentals. I'll make sure that you are comfortable with the fundamentals with whatever concept that we are discussing, and only post to that I'll be coming into the topic. So you don't have to worry. So you don't have to worry about AZ 900, which is very simple. So post completing the certification, you will be able to touch base AZ 900. Also, you can attempt for AZ 104. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, there is last certification will be provided. Yes, certification will be provided when you are with when you are enrolled with Madrasis Technologies. As I said, when you are subscribed with 1,299, post completing this certification, you'll get a e-certificate with your name. Yep, course completion certificate from Madrasis Technologies, Chennai. Correct. By any chance, DevOps course is offered in upcoming days? Yes, definitely. So there are two courses that I'm planning for. So post completing our Azure with 2 or 3 days gap, we will plan for DevOps. So DevOps, there are two layers. One is Azure DevOps, and second layer is AWS DevOps. AWS DevOps is we are not going to look into AWS related components, but instead we will be looking into the open source DevOps tools that are revolving around the market, like Jenkins, Git, Docker, Kubernetes kind of topics. And also after that, I'm planning to take Azure DevOps, where we'll be looking into Azure repos, pipelines, again Docker, Git. So what are the fundamentals? Everything we'll be looking in the future. That is what I am planned for. Okay, Suresh, do you have a question? I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah, hi. I want to know what are your roles and responsibilities in your previous organization.
So the roles and responsibilities, I was working as a cloud DevOps engineer. So my role was completely into application provisioning and no like application deployment. So I used to work with the DevOps tools. So most of my career I was working with AWS and Azure. So I take care of this IAC infrastructure as code part, also the application deployment. So mostly Terraform, Ansible, Docker. So these were my core areas I was working on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Can we know your okay? Great. How many days are going to take? So I'm planning for 40 days. So I'm hoping we should be in a position to complete within 40 days. So if there is no I mean, if we don't miss any session, but I see it is going to be a holiday session, correct? Holiday month, September. So we'll be getting some 4 or 5 public holidays. So if everybody are available, we will go. At least a majority of you are available, we will go everyday session. So if I get some no's in the group saying that today I'm not available, no, we will not. That time we will take a break, and no, like we'll 40 days will be extended to 44 or 45 days. That is the plan for the session. Any other questions, doubts? Monday to Friday? No, no, we are not going to touch base on weekends. So Monday to Friday we will plan. So 5 days a week. Uh, okay. So that is a good question. So what you have to do is like you have to reach me out over WhatsApp. Okay. So people who want to save, just save my number, or you can also post it in the group. Will you provide any job opportunities? Job opportunities are out there. What we can do is like we can share the upcoming openings that we see. So we are tied up with, I mean, Madrasis Technologies is tied up with some consultancies out there in Chennai. You know, like if there is any job openings, we will be intimated. So I can post the same in the group, and know like you can benefit out from that. So apart from that, we don't directly provide any job opportunities for the online courses. If you are not working, will free exam? No, if you are if you are associated with any organization, only then you'll get the free vouchers from the organization. If you're not associated with any organization, you'll not get the vouchers. Share Madrasis Technologies link. Okay, so please note down this number. Just let me know of 988404697. Just ping me on WhatsApp and I'll be able to help you. Or you can always post in the group. So this group, I'm not going to make it as admins only. So let's have our discussions there. If you have any doubts, no, like if you're practicing, like if you're ending up with error and other guy is working well, no, he can help you out. Or if I'm available, I can help you out. We'll make it as a community. Yes. Yes, I don't know how many of you have gone through this syllabus. So I'm planning for a demo project. So have everyone got a chance to view this particular syllabus that I have shared? Okay, I don't know. Okay, so this is the same content, but I've given it in a very elaborated way, like what all minor things that we'll be looking into the course. So if you go to the very end, we'll have one project session where we will be creating complete three-tier architecture. Okay, so three-tier architecture is like web layer, application layer, and no like database layer. So I've just given the names VM, VNets, databases, but it is a complete three-tier architecture that we will plan to build. Okay, got it. If you have seen it, it is great. So again, if you want to subscribe to Madrasis Technologies, just reach me out over the mobile number 98847044697, or you can post it in the group. And if you have any other questions, even no problem, you can always post it in the group. I'll be available. So I'll not be available all the time. I'm still consulting with few companies. So when I take a chance to look at the mobile, I'll immediately respond to all your queries. Okay. Any questions, doubts? I was not into Azure cloud domain. Will the outcome of this course help? As I said, no, like I don't require anybody to have any prerequisite to learn cloud. So cloud is a versatile technology, and no, like it is very easy to adapt. Just go through the courses, do your homework. That is very much sufficient. Once you are completing this course, no, like you can very well easily say that no, last 2 years I've learned cloud, because people working in the real time might be aware, no, like you'll not be working in two nooks and corners of cloud. So what all you can do is you will be put into one specific area like virtual missions, VNet, or networking. So you'll be into this area and you'll not explore the other area when you're there working on the real time. So this course will give you complete insight about all the topics that are required, okay, from the infrastructure point of view. So you can easily claim that you have worked for last cloud for last 2 years, and know like you want to switch your career as long as you are already working. Okay, so you don't require a prerequisite. This course will help you to build your fundamental, like you can go until intermediate. You will not be an expert, but you can climb yourself as an intermediate in cloud computing. Okay, I think I've answered all the. Yeah, I've got one another question. Can I learn this course for data analytics? So this course is not for data analytics. So in IT, there are multiple streams. There is a stream for operations and infrastructure, and this course is specifically for operations and infrastructure, and this is not for data analytics. There is a separate course out there where we will be discussing. I mean, I'll not be discussing with you, but the people will be discussing in terms of Azure Databricks and other data analytic tools. So this is completely related to infrastructure operations like VM networks. How about, yeah, it holds the same irrespective of cloud. No, like every cloud is going to have multiple streams like audio reality, virtual reality, audio reality, or satellite services, or infrastructure services, or data analytics, artificial intelligence. Multiple clouds are available, and multiple clouds are offering this service. Whichever cloud you want to choose, you can choose, and like you can start your journey. But as he said, this if you choose this three cloud, AWS, Azure, or GCP, you'll have a good career because there are plenty of openings in the market for just three clouds. Clear? Okay. Shall we end our session today? We will meet tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'll share the invite. We will look into our first concept, which is called as resource.
Yes.
No problem. Happy to speak with you all. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.